in music, tech, and what's going on in the industry. We'll be starting the program in just a few moments, but first, some notes about today's program. Feel free to invite your friends to join in this show, and if you'd like to offer your thoughts on any of today's topics, you can request to join the stage and participate in the discussion, or comment in the chat in the video stream. You can find all of today's headlines on our website, musicindustrycity.com. Just head to the latest Music News at Noon post to see all the articles we referenced during today's broadcast. You can also register for free to get unlimited access to all the articles, news, and events in the city. And you may also watch us live on the video stream right from the website or on the Music Industry City YouTube channel. All right, is everybody ready? We begin our countdown right now.
Hello and welcome. It's great to have you with us on this Wednesday. I'm Peter Schwing, and here's what's happening. UnitedMasters to let artists get paid in cryptocurrency. Kacey Musgraves' album deemed ineligible for Country Album Grammy. Coachella Festival reverses mandatory vaccination policy. TikTok names 6 sound partners, and we're going to check in with our UK correspondent, Andrew Randall, to talk about the UK nighttime economy. Lost 86,000 jobs during the COVID shutdown, according to a new NTIA report. Plus, our daily Spotify update. Those stories coming up. But first, let's take a look at this day in music history. In this day in music history, we honor those that have passed away, that are born, and some maybe interesting tidbits of something that has occurred in the past. So in 1977, 32-year-old Shirley Brickley of the Orleans was shot and killed by an intruder in her Philadelphia home. In 1974, TV host Ed Sullivan died, leader of the Ed Sullivan Singers and Orchestra. He introduced the Beatles and other UK acts to America via his TV show, which ran from 1948 to 1971. And in 2001, Australian singer-songwriter Peter Doyle died of throat cancer at the age of 52. He was a solo artist and a member of the New Seekers. Born on this day in 1941, singer-songwriter Paul Simon. 1947 brought us American rock vocalist, guitarist, and a tequila brand owner, Sammy Hagar. 1959, singer, actress, and a doll designer. Did not know she was a doll's designer, but her name is Marie Osmond. And in this day in history, in 2002, UK rock band Muse took legal action against Celine Dion after she announced her forthcoming Las Vegas show would be called Muse. Singer Matt Bellamy from the band said, quote, "We don't want anyone to think we're Celine Dion's backing band." 2004, the U.S. Internal Revenue Service charged 63-year-old Ronald Isley, lead singer of the Isley Brothers, with tax evasion for failing to report income from royalties and performances by the band between 1997 and 2002. He was later found guilty and sentenced to 3 years in prison. And on this day in 2016, Bob Dylan was awarded the 2016 Nobel Prize for Literature, becoming the first songwriter to win the prestigious award. The 75-year-old rock legend received the prize for, quote, having created new poetic expressions within the great American song tradition. And that is it for this day in history. To set the stage for a discussion, we provide informed perspectives and commentary on current headlines. If you'd like to offer your thoughts on one of today's topics, you can request to join the stage. I'd also like to say hi to everyone viewing the show on our video live stream on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and directly from the website. And the website, if you haven't seen, musicindustrycity.com, we just blew it up. and we created a brand new one. So that's what happened. We relaunched it on Monday. Check it out. And if you are registered, there's the social walls now, so you can post questions, memes, have some fun with it, post things that you're working on. So the community is really building out, and there's a lot going on. We have an event tomorrow as part of the Power of Indie Virtual Conference. We're doing a Music Industry City Future Music Forum series, and you can find out more at musicindustrycity.com. All right, with that, let's get to it. All right, we begin with this piece from Music Business Worldwide. To access all the articles referenced in today's show and throughout the week, visit musicindustrycity.com and view today's music industry news at noon post. UnitedMasters partners with Coinbase to let artists get paid in cryptocurrency. This comes on the heels of UnitedMasters' announcement in August about other new funding tools for indie musicians, one of which, introduced in collaboration with BeatBread, allows the distributor to grant qualifying artists advances ranging from $1,000 to $1 million. UnitedMasters also announced a financial relationship with Paperchain, which employs algorithms to forecast an artist's royalty earnings based on their most recent streaming statistics. Artists that use UnitedMasters can now get paid in either U.S. dollars or a cryptocurrency of their choice. The artist can use Coinbase's entire product suite, which includes spending, earning, trading, and borrowing. And UnitedMasters says the goal is to, quote, create more financial opportunities, equity, and transparency to the dedicated rising musicians utilizing our platform, and to level the playing field so that they can stay independent and in control of their respective futures. UnitedMasters founder and CEO Steve Stout described the decision to begin giving cryptocurrency rewards to CNBC, claiming that, quote, payment optionality has been a big thing in this creator economy, and now artists are asking to be paid in crypto. CNBC further states that UnitedMasters currently has 1.2 million musicians on its platform, that these artists create over 1 billion streams each month, and that 59% of the artists on the site are under the age of 25. UnitedMasters announced a $50 million funding round in March, anchored by Apple, with additional backing from Alphabet and Andreessen Horowitz. Following a $70 million funding round sponsored by Google Alphabet in 2017, the news reported another big financial milestone for UnitedMasters. Meanwhile, Coinbase announced today in a blog post that it intends to develop its own NFT platform, Coinbase NFT. All right, for anybody that wants to get paid in crypto, know what you're getting involved in, please. If I'm going to pay you $1,000, here you go. Here's $1,000. You get $1,000 and you put that in your bank account. Great, you have $1,000. Maybe you collect a little interest on it. What happens when you get $1,000 in Bitcoin? You get, I don't know what, like a fraction of a Bitcoin, and that value changes the second that it is put into your Coinbase account. It gets variable and fluctuated. And it'll go up, it'll go down. Well, the whole point is you are now playing on the stock market of crypto. Here's the other thing that you also want to be careful about. And please, if you do get into Coinbase, the 12 passwords, the 12 words, your passcodes, don't share them. Don't keep them online. Print them out. Stick them in a safety deposit box. Put them in a safe, because if you ever lock yourself out of it, you cannot hit the reset password button if you completely lock yourself out of the account. The other thing that you also have to keep in mind is Coinbase can lock you out of your account, which is happening to hundreds of thousands of people right now, including myself, that we can't verify our account. I haven't been able to access my Coinbase, do anything with Coinbase for 8 months. And they keep on asking me to verify. Now, so make sure you don't put all your crypto into one wallet. You want to diversify or do something else with it, but just remember, you are at the mercy of an unregulated or company that isn't FDIC secured. So please just keep these kind of things in mind when you are playing with this crypto. I love it. I'm absolutely for it. I love crypto. I love what's happening. I love the blockchain. I love NFTs, but please make sure you do the research and know what you're getting involved in. All right. Moving on, some more tech. Immersive music experience startup Stage 11 raises $5.8 million. It partners with Snoop Dogg and David Guetta. Bilolo is a co-owner of Scorpio Music and French, which has a 45-year history in the music industry. Stage 11 has also formed strategic alliances with musicians such as Martin Garrix, David Guetta, Snoop Dogg, Neo, and Akon. Stage 11 claims to have, quote, begun its journey to reimagine music for the metaverse with the funding which it will use to onboard strategic recruits, sign important artists and brand collaborations, and grow its tech platform. Stage 11, which was founded in 2020, has offices in Paris and Los Angeles and wants to enter several of today's fastest-growing areas, including gaming, AR, VR, virtual events, and digital goods. By merging gaming, mixed reality, and digital treasures, the business claims to be setting out to redefine the interactive music experience. According to Stage 11, it's going to accomplish this by creating a new creative canvas for artists, allowing them to invite fans to live, play, and create inside their performances and music worlds. These worlds combine immersive gameplay sequences, lifelike performances, cinematic narratives, and exclusive digital collections. So fans can not only discover and collect these interactive NFTs, but also use them to create and share unique personalized content as well as perform with their favorite artists. It's right now available on PC and mobile, and the company's first music experience is scheduled to launch in 2022. We're going to start seeing metaverse is going to be the other big buzzword, decentralized creator economy, metaverse, I'm sure, and hybrid. We're going to start hearing, well, we already have, but we'll keep on hearing those words for another good year and then some. All right, Kacey Musgraves, star-crossed, deemed ineligible for country album Grammy, and this is also from Billboard. All right, so the president of Universal Music Group Nashville has written to the Recording Academy CEO Harvey Mason Jr. to express her disappointment that Kacey Musgraves' new album, Star-Crossed, will not be eligible for Country Album of the Year at the 64th Annual Grammy Awards, which will be held on January 31st. The decision was made last week during the Recording Academy's annual screening committee meeting, during which applications are assessed to ensure they are placed in the correct category. Members of the screening committees have the authority to reject recordings if they do not believe they fit the genre, but they are still eligible for the All-Genre Album of the Year award. That is exactly what happened to Star-Crossed, according to Mabe, who writes in her letter, which Billboard obtained, the committee's judgment has also been independently validated by Billboard. According to a source, the album's song Camera Roll was submitted and accepted for Best Country Song category. All right, there's a lot to unpack, and you can go to the article on Billboard. It has the entire letter she wrote. So we're just going to pull out some key points here. She also writes that the decision from the country committee not accept Star-Crossed into the country albums category is very inconsistent and calls into question the other agendas that were part of this decision. So Star-Crossed was published on September 10th as part of a new collaboration between Universal and MCA Nashville Imprint and pop label Interscope Records. The album opened at number 1 on Billboard's top country albums chart and number 3 on Billboard 200 All Genre chart. Musgraves' previous albums were only available through Universal Music Group's country division. In a letter dated on October 10th, Mab recounts Musgraves' previous victories and explains why she believes the committee's judgment is incorrect, including an updated conversation she claims she has had with Mason. All right, so she goes on. She doesn't talk about, there's no mention of Interscope's involvement with the production, but delves into the album's numbers and sound. And they're saying that the CD must feature 51% playing time of new country recordings, according to the eligibility requirements for Best Country Album. Despite being rejected by the country committee, the album is eligible for Album of the Year and has been accepted for Pop Album of the Year by the Pop Screening Committee. She doesn't ask for the album to be reconsidered for inclusion, though sources say that is her goal, but asks that Mason consider the long-term ramifications of the decision. She goes on to wrap up, quote, I haven't slept all weekend because I'm really sad for our format. I'm sad for fans of our music and the ramifications on how we'll continue to define success in country music. This short-sighted, biased decision will send ripples throughout our format to continue to ensure that the message is sent that country music can only be for the limited few that enjoy the same perspective. And the Recording Academy did not respond to a request from Billboard, and it was also, she declined to comment further through a representative. Whew, anybody have thoughts on that? I mean, we've seen plenty of misclassifications in the past. Probably going back to the one of the most infamous ones, the Jethro Tull beating out Metallica for Metal Album of the Year. But people also question, was Taylor Swift, were her albums country albums after a few years. So if anybody has some thoughts on this, feel free to raise your hand, jump on the stage. And with that, we're going to go over to Variety, and this one, Coachella Festival reverses mandatory vaccination policy. Coachella has revised its plan to impose vaccination for ticket holders to its April 2022 festivals, instead requiring only proof of a negative test performed within 72 hours of the event, although proof of full vaccination will work as well. Surprisingly, the news was made Tuesday afternoon via the festival's Instagram story rather than the festival's main Instagram page or Twitter, where the most recent tweet from August states that the confirmation of complete immunization is required for all Coachella-organized Golden Voice concerts. All right, it goes on to say, quote, after seeing firsthand the low transmission data and successful implementation of safety protocols at other festivals this past month, we feel confident we can update our health policy to allow negative COVID-19 test takers within 72 hours of the event or proof of full vaccination. The timing of the policy shift, much alone the policy reversal itself, is perplexing, given that the event is months away and tickets have long since sold out. So a lot of people are probably a little bit annoyed, saying, hey, I would have bought a ticket knowing this information. But hey, that's what's going to happen. Golden Voice, which is owned by AEG, did not immediately respond to Variety's concerns regarding the oblique message. In the music industry, Instagram stories are often utilized by artists for insider fan announcements, not by large concert promoters for significant health policy updates. While the new policy differs from AEG's full vaccination requirement, which was also announced in August, the company stated that, quote, the vaccination policy will be implemented as an open-ended one, with any changes or reversals informed by updates relating to infection rates, transmission data, variant development, and local and federal recommendations or regulations. Whew. That's going to be interesting. And all around the world, we're seeing different regulations, different things happening. So, people, I've seen people like posting saying, like, well, this festival's doing, or this festival, it's in different territories. I mean, you see what's even going on with Texas. I mean, we have 50 different countries here in the United States. So it's really hard to compare the apples to the oranges. With that, we're going to check in with Angela across the pond. Angela, I mean, this is something that has been a concern. The UK nighttime economy lost 86,000 jobs during the COVID shutdown, according to the Nighttime Industries Association report. And our friend, our favorite NTIA person, Michael Kill, has a lot to say on this. What are your thoughts? What do you have for us?
Thanks, Peter. The headline, UK nighttime economy lost 86,000 jobs during COVID shutdown, says new NTIA report. According to the new study published today by the Nighttime Industries Association, the COVID pandemic resulted in the loss of about 86,000 jobs in the UK's nighttime cultural sector. The trade organization also makes certain demands of the UK government in order to protect a sector that, according to the trade group, accounted for 1.6% of the country's GDP prior to the COVID shutdown. Allow me to say that again, that it accounted for 1.6% of the country's GDP. That's a massive amount. The NTIA's new report seeks to quantify the economic impact of the wider nighttime economy, and specifically the nighttime cultural economy, or nighttime businesses driven by cultural and leisure activities prior to COVID-19 and the lockdown measures that forced many of those businesses to close completely or operate at reduced capacity over a 16-month period. It then examines the impact of those lockdown measures, as well as the problems that lie ahead as the nighttime sector gradually returns to operation. According to the group's calculations, the value of the UK's nighttime cultural economy was £36.4 billion in 2019, or, as I said, 1.6% of the GDP, and the sector employed 425,000 people. Since the sector's peak in 2019, 86,000 jobs have been lost. The trade group also claims that its analysis backs up its claims that the Scottish and Welsh government's COVID passport programs, which require clubs and other venues to check a customer's COVID vaccination status at the entrance, are unreasonable. Of course, we covered that earlier in last week or week before here in the news. Although a similar strategy in England was abandoned, officials have stated that it could be implemented this winter if further coronavirus outbreaks result in an increase in hospitalizations. NTIA CEO Michael Kill comments on the new analysis saying, quote, "We're pleased to be able to present today this important and timely piece of work quantifying for the first time the size of the nighttime economy in the UK. Important because in my 25-year career working in UK nightlife, it has always struck me as so odd that we did not have a proper accounting of the value of this important sector. Today's report puts that right, and it's long overdue," end quote. Meanwhile, Kill says the report also justifies the UK government providing new COVID-relating support to nighttime businesses. Quote, "It's crucial that the Chancellor use the upcoming budget to support this beleaguered sector," end quote. He argues, "We are calling for him to extend the 12.5% rate of VAT on hospitality until 2024, include door sales in that reduced rate of VAT, because the present system punishes nightclubs that rely on door sales rather than selling tickets. And for him to ensure that there are no increases in alcohol duties, our sector really cannot afford any additional burdens," end quote. Obviously, I mean, we've come to refer to him as unofficially Sir Michael Kill around here, because as far as I'm concerned, he deserves a knighthood after all that. But at the end of the day, I think that the study puts into perspective the size of the sector financially versus the amount of people earning it. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of work done by a pretty sizable group, but one still that's manageable to hand these sort of special measures over to, being that they generate so much revenue in the cultural sector. And while there's been a lot of discussion in this news broadcast as well as other publications about the value that's placed on sport in the UK and around the world, music, nightlife, entertainment that's not of a sport variety tends to be shoved into the back seat, and this study rightly puts them in the forefront to say, actually, we do generate a large proportion of the GDP for such a small industry, and we could use the help.
I mean, that 1.6 the GDP. I mean, that's the total GDP for other countries. And,
yeah.
and you're talking about, so this VAT this 12.5% rate for the VAT on hospitality, is that what the standard rate, or is that a reduced rate from what it is? That's why they're calling to extend it, because I mean, the fact is, like, if they can get, it's like, it would help by releasing any kind of what we'd be used to as, like, in the U.S., like sales tax or other taxes, of saying, it's like, listen, just give us some relief on that in that area. So is 12.5 the standard rate?
It doesn't really work the way it does in the States, where there is, quote unquote, a standard rate. I mean, it differs sort of by industry, and it differs kind of whether or not you're providing a service or, like you say, a sales on goods. I think that the true takeaway from this is, as he explained, that the consumer doesn't necessarily see it in the same way that they do in the States, where you see the price on the ticket when you purchase a good, and then you're trained to add X amount for sales tax. It's actually that's actually baked in. So when the consumer sees that it's 12 pounds to get in at the door, or 20 pounds to get in at the door, the VAT is a portion of that, or it's covered as a portion of that to keep things simple. So while the hit would normally be okay because the economy was booming, and people were going out at the same rate that they always have based on those 2019 numbers that we saw, they could afford to take that hit to make their contribution as every other business does. But considering people are A, reluctant to go out, B, they know there's going to be a bit of a hassle because of the COVID pass rules that have come into place, and C, because people are expecting things to be canceled these days more frequently, that when you sell tickets, you have some idea of the kind of audience you're expecting. But to be charged VAT at that rate on the door, I mean, that pretty much is already an insurmountable obstacle that they're presented even before they know that it's raining that night, or there's something else going on that night, or that events are being canceled, obviously due to COVID things. So it is an undue burden, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll extend that reduction for at least another 2 years.
Right. Yeah. When you're talking about venues require a 75% capacity to stay afloat, it's not because it's not the ticket sales, 75%, capacity for ticket sales that's given float. It's the factor in that they're going to buy alcohol or if there's food or other items there, and that's what they're all banking on. And if they lower the capacities to below 75, and think of the smaller venues where it's there's the trickle down effect, and it just makes it more difficult. And just being any kind of relief would be great. Hey, I know you have to get back. Can you stick around? I think you might have something on the next article here. We're going to stick with Europe for one more, and we're speaking of ticketing and secondary ticketing. Can you hang out for one more?
Oh, I absolutely can. I did want to mention one last thing to keep in mind. Bear in mind that at the moment, a lot of the venues here in the UK have been obviously extending their space to either outside dining, outside seating, using bifolds to be able to increase the capacity, or beer gardens or tents or all sorts of other things. But with the weather starting to get cold, as it has been over the last 2 weeks, going into November, December, and January, which have frequently been times when you'd see an increase in nightlife, and people getting together to spend time going out to venues without that outdoor capacity, it even diminishes what they're able to offer considerably more over the colder months. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Of course, yeah, I'll be here for a bit longer. Let's see what we've got.
Great. And maybe they can help out maybe some smaller holiday markets or anything, utilizing the space for something. All right. So this one is the face value European Alliance for Ticketing, which is FEAT, F-E-A-T, calls on the EU to address secondary ticketing. FEAT has joined a list of 30 signatories in a statement penned by the European consumer organization BEUC, B-E-U-C, concerning the European Union's upcoming Digital Services Act. Addressing to members of the European Parliament, Council, and Commission, the statement, which refers to the problems caused by secondary ticketing, calls for the Digital Services Act to set out, quote, effective and unambiguous rules to tackle illegal activities and rogue traders. FEAT wants online marketplaces to become liable when they fail to carry out basic due diligence or fail to put a stop to illegal activity on their site once they are aware of it. The letter also recommends marketplaces be required to set up a robust verification system for traders. Amendments to the Commission's proposal for the Digital Services Act are currently in discussion, with the parliamentary committee responsible preparing to vote on the final text it wishes to take forward. FEAT Director Sam Shemtab said, secondary ticketing legislation across Europe takes the form of patchwork of laws that differ from state to state. This enables unscrupulous marketplaces with deep pockets to operate with impunity, ripping off fans and damaging the entire live sector. By increasing accountability and introducing basic due diligence requirements that are uniform across Europe, the Digital Services Act can help create a ticket resale ecosystem that stops fans being ripped off and strengthens the recovery of the live sector post-COVID. We've seen a lot, like Europe really has done a lot going after the secondary market. And I know the UK, and we've just seen some ticketing companies. One had to unload a division. They've been under a lot of scrutiny. And Angela, I know you have been paying attention to this a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're just seeing everybody is sort of leaping onto it in the areas where we thought they might have made some changes with regard to how touring works and how ticketing works and all of these other areas. Some sectors have unfortunately fallen by the wayside because they've had to obviously prioritize their employees. But a lot of this is largely automated. And so it looks like on that front, people have really rallied and gotten to the point where they're saying, look, it's just a matter of rearranging a few buttons and rearranging a few processes to really reform the way this all works, and updating some of the apps and the websites and the access points for ticketing, and shutting down some of these dodgy dealing in the secondary ticketing market, and addressing the lack of legislation, I should say, is really what the aim is here. And it just means that it gives the opportunity for the artists, for the tours, for the communities that actually do the work, to be the ones that earn the money from it instead of secondary profiteers. For me, it's about time, obviously, but it's nice to see so many organizations cropping up or getting behind just this sort of legislation, because it just means that it'll be a fairer system and that people will be able to see the same great shows they've always been able to see, but at prices that aren't, just impossible and ineffective for real fans.
All right. Yeah, it's I do like the EU with. They really do go after a lot more, whereas opposed to the U.S., they let things slide a lot longer than they should. EU tries to keep everything a little bit within perspective when it comes to like antitrust, when it comes to things like this and other policies. So, but speaking of ticket prices, this just popped in my head. Did anybody catch Blue Horizons takeoff? I mean, William Shatner, Captain Kirk, finally went to space. Bought a ticket, so he went up to space and it landed. Did anybody catch that earlier today?
I'm definitely going to watch it. I think my mom watched it in the States. She's both a big Shatner fan and a space fan. So I think I'm a fan of one of those things.
All right. We're going to stick one more on the international side, and this is from IQ Mag. Quarantine issues put end to New Zealand's biggest 2022 festival. The organizers of the Bay Dreams are canceling both summer dates due to difficulty securing quarantine spots for international acts. The festival was set to be the biggest of the year with an event in Nelson capacity of 13,000 on January 3rd, with an event in Tauranga, a capacity of 30,000 on January 6th. The lineup was announced when NZ was operating a trans-Tasman travel bubble and included acts such as Australians Tasha and Tones and I, and as well as European electronic artists Chase and Status and Netsky. As it stands, there is much uncertainty about the trans-Tasman bubble, and quarantine spaces are extremely difficult to obtain, wrote the promoter Audiology Touring in a statement. A queue of 30,000 people are trying to gain access to a few thousand rooms. At a time like this, we have two choices. We either promote something that is unlikely to proceed, or we shift into an event that we can confidently bring life for you. In lieu of the flagship event, Audiology will be putting on two alternative events in the same cities on the same dates, with the few international acts that have been secured quarantine places. Netsky, Hybrid Minds, Friction, and COVID have been confirmed so far. I mean, it just keeps going and going. These challenges, having quarantine spots. I mean, this is crazy. It's like, and New Zealand, Australia's just somebody in our earlier room was talking about, how it's like you get fined. It's like they just came out of this 100-day lockdown, and it's just everywhere has something going on. So we just want this to go away. We're tired and we're done with it. All right, TikTok. All right, so we have a few tech news here. All right, we just have about 3 articles left. And if you want to check out those articles on the website, you can go to musicindustrycity.com and check out today's music industry news at noon to see to check out the articles we are referencing if you want a deeper dive. TikTok named 6 certified sound partners, including Songtrader, Massive Music, UnitedMasters, and Epidemic Sound. All right, so the platform says this will make it even easier for brands of all sizes to tap into music and sound on TikTok. The partnerships with the music companies form part of an expansion to the TikTok Marketing Partners Program, which launched in September of 2020. According to TikTok, in addition to its commercial music library, which includes over 150,000 pre-cleared royalty-free tracks, quote, sourced from emerging artists and top-tier music houses, the certified sound partners introduced the other day, can help brands leverage the unique potential of TikTok's sound on environment at scale. The sound partners fall into 2 subspecialties, custom sound and subscription sound, to support what TikTok says is, quote, a variety of campaign objectives, from building a sonic brand identity to developing an evergreen content strategy for TikTok. TikTok says its custom sound partners create bespoke tracks that inspire community participation and excitement around hashtag challenges, campaigns, and more. And the partners includes Karm, K-A-R-M, a global music production company specializing in custom tracks on TikTok. Massive Music, another creative music agency that curates music, sonic branding solutions, and music management for brands such as Nike, Heineken, Apple. And Elements Music, a music and sound agency specializing in producing music for brands. And so there's more. So it's really interesting. I mean, now that being able to, this goes a little bit what YouTube did with music licensing. I mean, YouTube has their music, an entire library for YouTubers to use. And that was great. And a lot of people really actually didn't even know about that. It's like, I need music for my YouTube video. Well, there's an entire section that you can just go use it royalty free, simple. You might have to attribute, it's whatever, it might be under Creative Commons licensing. So there's different levels of what you can use it for. But for YouTubers, boom, you could use it. So this is really interesting to see what they're rolling out here. And let's go to talk about a company, one of the streaming platforms that I feel doesn't get as much of attention as we should give it. Deezer. Deezer debuts Flow Moods, music matched to your mood. So if anybody here uses Deezer, I've used it. I'm like, I like the interface. I thought it was, I liked it. I liked it better than Apple's interface for sure. Deezer says its signature feature Flow provides an infinite mix of new tracks. Now it includes Flow Moods Wheel. So it's a wheel for personalized recommendations that take emotions into account. Flow Moods is an emotional jukebox to play music based on a particular mood with a degree of personalization built in. So it uses data smart algorithms, just like every other playlist, and suggestions from editors to create mood mixes. So it includes artists user love and new tracks for music discovery, all themed around a mood. Deezer says that because humans are experiencing emotions 90% of the time in our everyday lives, you can use this feature by choosing one of the 6 basic flow moods. It's also worth noting that flow moods personal recommendations only kick in after a user has checked at least 16 tracks or artists in Deezer. So there's the you and me. That's the you and me mood. There's motivation. There's chill, melancholy, focus, and party. So you can just start hitting Flow in the Deezer app, and as soon as the music starts playing, you will see the Flow Moods rainbow wheel above the cover art. Tap the icon, select the musical mood that's right for you in the moment to begin using a new feature. And it's on iOS and Deezer. iOS and Android Deezer app. Sorry about that. All right, scrolled that one a little too fast. And let's talk about our favorite spot.
Big green dot. It's the spot.
That's right. It is the Spotify spot. This is our last article of the day. If there's anything that you thought you heard that you want to jump in and offer up some thoughts on the topics, feel free to raise your hand to come to the stage. And Spotify expands its in-house podcast with 2 more shows focused on artists and creators. So Spotify opted to embrace podcasts as part of its bigger communications plan last year with the debut of its behind-the-scenes podcast, Spotify for the Record, which has featured interviews with Spotify executives, staff, and industry experts about music, technology, and podcasting. Today, the company is expanding its in-house podcasting strategy by launching 2 more communications-related podcasts aimed towards certain industries such as creators, entertainment, consumer trends, and lifestyle aficionados, and the business and financial community. The new programs will be available throughout October, with the first being Spotify Discover This, which will be available as of tomorrow. Yes, as of October 14th. According to the firm, this podcast will contain thoughts on music, podcasting, cultural moments, and trends, as well as a combination of music, artist interviews, and other quote, surprises. To give you a sense of the type of content available, the first episode will delve into the evolution of country music and feature upcoming musicians. The other new program, Spotify Mic Check, which focuses on creators, will debut on October 19th. In addition to its work with musicians' labels, it's been attempting to embrace the podcast producer community through the acquisition of podcast-related companies over the years, including numerous studios and creation tools such as Anchor. It has also been attempting to assist creators better monetize their efforts with the introduction of new advertising solutions, paid subscriptions, interactive tools, and connectors that allow creators to connect their existing subscriber base to Spotify's platform. It also introduced Spotify Green Room, a social app that will host live content. Again, Spotify's music streaming secondary. Spotify's an entertainment platform, and when they really start flipping the switch on the video, putting the gas pedal down on that, we're going to see that. All right. Mic Check is going to build on Spotify's creative commitments by featuring a variety of chats with musicians and podcasters. The show will feature exclusive recordings and personal stories from the global community of producers, all of which will be available only on Spotify. And on October 26th, the business will also return its flagship show For the Record for a 3rd season. And the show will continue to provide comments on Spotify's product and financial developments, such as earnings reports, product launches, and other business updates. However, this season, the corporation will make, for the record, an even more important source of breaking news, stating it will be the only location where crucial business developments will be shared. All right, what a great concept. It's like we have the podcast platform. We want to be able to share information. We also want to share what's going on with our platform and news. So we'll just create our own podcasting shows and have people now come watch podcast shows on our company's platform about our company. I like that. What do you think, Angela?
I like it too. I think it's, we've discussed this before that I don't necessarily use Spotify exclusively for podcasts, but I like the idea that they're sort of focusing on creators, which tends to be oddly an overlooked sector of a lot of these companies that are hosts of podcasts. They tend to focus on the subjects rather than the individuals that are doing the work, really. So it's quite nice to sort of turn it around slightly, and it doesn't surprise me at all that Spotify is a leader on it for focusing on that kind of content. So yeah, something I actually will check out.
Tune in on the Music Industry City platforms for us to talk about Music Industry City and your thoughts on Music Industry City. And let's interview somebody from Music Industry City. I like it. Let's do it.
I mean, yeah, why not? It makes sense to champion them because it seems that they get so much bad press about how musicians feel about payouts and about support and all those other things, that it seems like to really kind of carve out their niche with podcasts, that they're going about it the right way this time. So yeah, chalk one in Spotify's column this time.
Yeah. And thanks. And that's it for our read. So we're going to open up the stage to our audience. If anybody would like to hop on, if they have some thoughts, any comments about today's topics, now is your chance to join this conversation. And while that's waiting, just reminder at musicindustrycity.com, brand new website. And if you're registered, make sure to log in because you can update your profile, your background, and we have it's a glorified Facebook group. That's really what it is, because we have forums, you can post on the wall, you can ask questions, you can share comments, share something that's going on in the news, share some promotion, something you're working on, and we're really building out the community. There's a big announcement coming tomorrow during the Music Industry City Future Music Forum session at the Music Industry City Future Music Forum sessions, which is during the Power of Indie virtual conference. And we have more information on that on the musicindustrycity.com website. Lots of big news coming. And wait until you see the programming that's going to be coming out. We're doing a lot more networking events, a lot of stuff that's outside Clubhouse, okay? We are really, if you're not signed up at Music Industry City, it's going to be hard to know about this. But we are going to be doing a lot of stuff outside Clubhouse. We're going to be bringing new programming. And it's not going to be on Clubhouse. It's going to be live streamed. And it's going to be a lot changing over the next quarter and going into 2022 along with other digital events. So if you want to know more, and you just go to musicindustrycity.com and click that register button at the top right and say hi. That's the big thing about the social wall, is you can just say, hi, I'm here. And post something and give us an update. Or it's like I like to say in the morning room, shout yourself in. So go to Music Industry City and shout yourself in. So if that's going to be it, Angela, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'm really excited actually about the conference this weekend as well. I'll be co-hosting most of the sessions on Friday and Saturday. So obviously, Peter's going to be kicking off the festival for the whole day on Thursday. And then it's a rare one that you actually get to see my mug on this show, because I'm not usually in the video stream, but I will be on the TPOI virtual. So if you've ever wondered what the shaved right side of my head looks like, tune in and you'll get to see it.
You'll actually just keep your left side, turn to the left the whole time in the camera so nobody will see it.
Peter, don't give away my secret. That's my plan.
Right on. All right, and that does it for the Music Industry City news at noon on this Wednesday from New York. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Actually, not going to see you tomorrow. We'll see you next Monday because tomorrow's the conference. So if you're going to the conference, we will see you tomorrow. But thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Peter Schwing, and for my colleague Angela Randall, have a rocking day. Cheers.
Cheerio.